Formula One is a world where money meets glamour. Stars are paraded in front of high-speed entertainment, with millions of pounds up for grabs. Within each team, there's a department dedicated to providing the celebrities and bringing in the money. They make sure every single shot of a car or a driver beams a corporate image into millions of homes around the world.
It is covered in more countries than the United Nations. Formula One has now become a must-buy sport.
Advertising money is crucial if the team is to compete for the World Championship. The man under pressure to give Benetton that revenue is Marketing Director John Postlethwaite.
Good morning, everybody. This is a very strange experience for me, to have all of these sponsors in one room and not to be trying to sell them anything.
We require about $50 million in terms of sponsorship income to run the car. And anyone can look at a Formula One car and see that there are 3 or 4 very big spaces. And they're obviously going to be the most expensive ones. Money decides what space people get on the car.
We're a global player, so we were looking for a global sponsorship activity, and Formula One is one of the global sports events.
This is the best way to let our brand name could be well known all over the world.
Any high-profile sports sponsorship is going to be expensive, but you are getting to a very large number of people, and there are very few media activities that you can be involved in that would get you to that number of people.
Probably not, but does it work for us? Yes, yes, it does. It's one of these things. It's very difficult to pin down if you actually work out how much you spend and what the return is. But it's an image thing as much as anything.
I think if you end up with a car which is, to all intents and purposes, full, you then have to do 2 things. You have to ensure that as a marketing and PR department and as a team that you're actually delivering good value to those sponsors, because it's a lot easier to keep a sponsor than it is to find one. Also, it's directly related to success on the track, because the more successful you are, the more television time you're going to get, the more press, the more media in general you're going to get, and the better value the sponsorship is going to be for the sponsors.
Once Postlethwaite has signed them up, the woman responsible for gaining them the press coverage is Patrizia Spinelli. From a fashion rather than a sporting background, she's gained a reputation for unconventional publicity stunts, more likely to involve models and footballers than engines and gear ratios.
From the very beginning, I was not meant to cover the sporting press. I was there to bring new type of press in. At the beginning, the other teams did not understand why you needed that. But after they saw that our sponsors were very keen in having that wider exposure, then they started to imitate us, and it was quite interesting to see how now they are all trying to organize fashion shoots. They are all trying to bring celebrities and a new element to the sport.
At the Canadian Grand Prix, after enticing American chat show host David Letterman into the garage, the team went on to a podium place that took them to 3rd position in the Constructors' Championship. It also attracted some potential new sponsors, Federal Express. Managing Director Postlethwaite is now to convince them that Benetton are the best Formula One team to invest in.
We are, in fact, out of the top 4 established teams, by far and away younger than the other teams. And that also leads me neatly onto our image, because the image of Benetton means that we actually have a young, youthful, exciting team.
But Postlethwaite has some news for his potential sponsors that may affect their joining the team. He's leaving.
Hello? Yes, thanks. Hello, Neil. I'm fine. Just to let you know, we've had a little bit of a piss and panic in the last couple of days, because Marketing Week picked up the fact that I'm moving, and they featured it on the front cover today. So the last couple of days, which is why you've not heard from me actually, I have been sort of doing a bit of crisis management.
In a meeting with his current sponsors, Postlethwaite is now to break the news that he won't be around for the rest of the season. It's already been a surprise for Benetton's managing director, Flavio Briatore.
Well, he just thinks it's stupid, you know. Why would you want to go, you know? Because he's like dealing with a baby, you know. He's like very nice and happy 1 second, and then the next second he's a complete bastard. So he's unpredictable.
E domenica abbiamo deciso di cambiare la macchina teorica e non ha funzionato. Però è andato più indietro, poi la macchina.
As Postlethwaite waves goodbye to Benetton, his parting gift is secured as Federal Express sign up as sponsors in time for his last Grand Prix at Silverstone in England. The only thing to be confirmed is the all-important sticker on the car.
Okay.
There are some slight changes which we've been working on today. The FedEx logo will stay as it is. This will be completely white back here. And then, of course, underneath here will go the name, Federal Express, which is the corporate name, which will make this very much within our corporate guidelines and ready for the race. And hopefully this baby's going to win.
So you're coming with me?
Yes.
Good.
You don't know the way? Bye, see you there.
It's been a great team to be with, and I'll miss a lot of people there. They're a great team, and they will always be a great team. But whatever people think about the enthusiasm and the fact that it's full of people who like to go racing, this sport only exists in the format that it is now because of communication and sponsors. Period. It would not be the sport it was if it didn't have that.
Waiting for Postlethwaite as he makes his way to his final Grand Prix is the man who's been appointed his successor, former Olympic athlete Dave Warren.
David is the new marketing director, and he's coming this weekend, so this is a great opportunity for me to sit with David and the sponsors and make sure that they spend some time with him. And to really give David some guidance on the sort of things I do over a Grand Prix weekend, like sit around in the motorhome and have a cup of coffee.
He's done a very good job. It is daunting, and I just hope that I can equal him. The ship is on autopilot. Everything's working well, and I don't want to hit any buttons that might disrupt it. But obviously, I hope in a couple of months' time I can look around and maybe change things, because a different man on the helm is an ideal time to change it. And John has done a fantastic job, but you can never emulate someone else. Each person has their style of doing business, and mine will be different to John. John is a classic blue chip marketing man. I'm not.
I am looking forward to that element. That's a slightly greater degree of freedom, which actually you might find quite difficult to get used to. But
it's also, I suppose, good to join a team when it's not enjoying its greater season, and then when it gets better, the marketing department can take their fair share of the credit, perhaps.
The first task of the marketing department is to officially launch the new Federal Express deal. And with a good press turnout, coordinator Patrizia Spinelli can now plan the media activities for the rest of the weekend. And the man in demand is substitute driver Alexander Wirtz.
So Motoring News will do an individual interview with you, okay? Then you can do whatever you want until 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, F1 Racing, the glossy magazine, wants to do an interview with you and Trulli together, because you are both thrown into Formula One this season, all of a sudden, but there has to be together, so at 5 o'clock here. Although we have a program already, everybody comes at the same time with 1,000 requests, an interview with Jean Alesi, a picture with Gerhard Berger, a chat with Flavio Briatore and all of that. It is very much like a circus, and in fact it's unlike any other working place.
It grinds you down. People put out false information and it gets picked up in a small motorsport magazine, and then the next day it's in 500 national newspapers across the world, and it's very difficult to manage that process.
one person starts the most absurd rumor, and all of a sudden it becomes a certainty, because it's the media itself that spreads it out. But then they say, but it's true, somebody has said that, and it's usually either enlarged or completely manipulated, and then, you know, and a news is born.
As the pressure mounts towards qualification hour, the garage is thrown open for the marketing team to give the sponsors a tour. But at the back of the garages, the chief designer, Nick Worth, has got a problem. Driver Alex Wirtz has gone missing.
Seen Alex? No. Looking around.
Under the eyes of the sponsors, Jean Alesi prepares to go out, with Wirtz nowhere to be seen.
He's at the truck, let's get him out the truck, go and get his helmet and get the move on. Not in the loo. Well, no, we banged on the door and said Alex. Could be one of the loos up there, couldn't it?
There's one toilet that hasn't been checked.
Have a look at the tower, Peter. Can you have a look at the tower? Yeah. He's not inside, is he?
Alex?
Yeah.
Unaware of the fuss, Wirtz casually makes his way back from the toilet. A more anxious Nick Worth spots him on the way back.
He wasn't quite aware of the urgency that he was required in the car, to put it mildly. And I explained to him in words of one syllable, in English, German and the universal sign language, that wouldn't be a good idea to do again, and I think he understands that.
Let's get in the car, but we'll wait. Thanks, John. We'll get in, but we're going to wait.
Yeah.
Alesi is already on the circuit, but way off pole position on his early laps.
Are you keeping an eye on the lap time? No, I'm just sitting here sort of looking into the crowd.
So, go for it, John Alesi, because Alexander Wirtz was quicker than you this morning, and quite a lot quicker. And John Alesi is said by some people to be getting to his sell-by date with Alexander Wirtz not only being so quick, so good at setting up the car, so good at working with his technicians, but in comparison so cheap. So, into the pit lane comes John Alesi.
That you're losing time. Yeah, aerodynamically, I don't think we have a good car. Okay, let's go, gentlemen. All right, Alex, 3-time lap.
Despite his unconventional start to the day, Wirtz is remarkably quick and faster than Alesi.
Just from a time point of view, you seem to be about the quickest guy on the circuit in these conditions, so we've got to be very careful what we do now.
But on the other side of the track, Alesi still can't get a good lap time.
John, what's the problem? That was the maximum I can do.
The session ends disappointingly for both drivers. Alesi will have to start tomorrow's race in 11th place. Wirtz is still ahead of him, but has been pushed down to 8th place by a series of late fast laps by opponents. His responsibilities aren't over, though, until he's given Patrizia a quote to distribute to the press.
There's no engine here, so...
Exactly.
P8 is okay, but it's still very difficult for the race. And it's so difficult here to overtake.
So it can happen, everything can be if I finish the race.
I'm disappointed, but I'm sure that we will be very competitive tomorrow in the race. We traditionally are. The only question is will our race strategy allow us to get past people, to get to to get a good points finish, or even higher.
Despite assurances of a good race tomorrow, the poor qualification performance puts extra pressure on the marketing team, who've told the sponsors the car will be getting good exposure.
I'm out of here next week.
Results in the first races were not good enough from our point of view. I mean, if the team is good, the chances that we prolong after the second year, because we have a 2 years contract with an option on the third year, the chances are better the better the results, the better the chance that we prolong the contract.
I don't think there's a lot we can do with this car to redress that balance, but I think we're going to try and introduce a lot of things in next year's car which will allow us to qualify as well as we race, if you understand what I mean. You know, in the race we're setting very fast laps and we're just never quite there in qualifying.
Race morning hospitality at the British Grand Prix for most Formula One fans means sleeping bags and a thermos flask. But there is another way to do it. The Paddock Club. Run by each team for the most exclusive guests, it offers champagne, haute cuisine, pop stars, driver appearances, and even royalty. At Benetton, John Postlethwaite has arranged for actor Pierce Brosnan to put in an appearance with the drivers at a special pre-race reception. For maximum effect, the entry to the club is timed to perfection, and when the drivers arrive a little too early, it takes a guiding hand to pirouette Alexander Wurz away.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to take your seats, please, as soon as possible? Just focus on these people, get them sat down. Do the champagne later. Ask them to take the champagne away. There's a guy from Kickers here. John, just a couple of questions first. Clearly today, to get up onto the podium, you're going to have to do some overtaking. What's Silverstone like as a track in terms of overtaking?
It's absolutely impossible because now...
Great, well, we look forward to that, Sean. Okay, well, best of luck from myself and everybody here, Jean, for today's race. Thanks very much. You just stay for a couple of photos.
Outside the motorhomes, incoming marketing director Dave Warren is acquainting himself with his new sponsors from Federal Express.
We'd already planned that after each of the races, we'd have an internal FedEx debrief, just to make sure that, you know, we achieved all our objectives, and that's what we want to do first thing tomorrow morning. So we'll learn some stuff from the French Grand Prix. I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more things from the British Grand Prix.
Because obviously, you know, as the new boy, I'm really under a lot of pressure to make sure everything goes well. So there's, it goes without saying, but if there's anything, what if you're not happy with any part of the organisation at the moment, I think with the change of helmsman, it's a very good time to get things exactly how you want.
We will not be shy in coming forward, don't believe me.
Because as I see it, you know, the marketing departments of the teams have got to reflect sort of the marketing departments of the sponsors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and how we report.
It's very important. That's very important.
How are you?
11:30. Over at the Paddock Club, yes.
Well, I'm delighted we got the show on the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Delighted we did it before I left.
Yeah. And the string T-vote. Your last day's on Wednesday?
Last day's on Wednesday. Well, you know me, I'll be in touch anyway, but just in case you've got any worries about this or any misunderstandings or anything, if you want to give me a ring about it, I'll try and speak to David or Flavio and help you out. So.
As the grid prepares for the start of the race, special guest Piers Brosnan watches on from the garage with Patrizia, but it's not going to be the start they expected, as Heinz Harald Frentzen stalls.
Ah, Frentzen was the culprit.
The Benetton garage can't contain its joy as the mechanics rush to check on their own drivers. The special guest is a bit confused, though.
So he's stalled at the beginning, that's why they...
He can start from the pits now, though, if he gets it going.
Back of the grid.
From the back of the grid, the grid.
Harland's cars, I mean, the reason to stall, I don't know anything about it. I mean, what happens when you stall a car? You just start it up again.
No, you can't.
You have to start,
it
takes 4 guys to start the car. It takes 4 guys to start these cars? Oh. Wow. Yeah, so it's not like a...
So he's out of the race.
Yeah, you need a piece of equipment to put into the back of the car to fire it up.
And so now he has to start. He can't start at the end of everybody else.
It's like going out on stage and getting a line.
The race starts with Frentzen at the back of the grid as his Williams teammate Jacques Villeneuve takes an early lead. John Postlethwaite watches on from the Benetton coach, but he doesn't plan to be around for much longer.
Looks like we're doing well and we're going to be busy afterwards, then I'll probably stay, yes. If it doesn't, then I'll probably beat the traffic as it is.
Villeneuve hits an early hitch and ends up taking a 30-second pit stop. Capitalising on the good start, this now puts the Benettons of Alesi and Wurz up to 4th and 5th. An oblivious Postlethwaite is already on his way, though.
When I drive out of Silverstone today, I'll be quite sad. I'll miss working for a team that's directly competing at the top of sport. But the real buzz you get is out of winning and knowing that the team can't win without being well funded. And the fact that we're all reliant on each other means that when you actually win on the track, everybody can enjoy it exactly the same.
Postlethwaite leads, but Alesi and Wirtz are looking better than ever.
4 cars together, and they are Coulthard, Alesi, Wirtz and Villeneuve. They're into the Vale. They're doing about 180 miles an hour as they approach the left-hander, which enters club. And again, Coulthard locks up, and he's going to lose a place because Alesi's right up behind him. David Coulthard fights back. Wirtz is trying to get round Alesi, and Villeneuve is up behind all of them. Wirtz is coming through on the inside. No, he's not. Alesi dodges out.
With Alesi's overtaking prophecy coming true, it takes a series of accidents to take the Benettons up the field. Most prized of all, new race leader Michael Schumacher goes out. Deciding to have only one pit stop, 22-year-old Wirtz now miraculously finds himself leading.
This is a fascinating race. Alexander Wirtz leads on a one-stop strategy. Jacques Villeneuve is about to take the lead if Wirtz does come in. And in he comes. Wirtz comes into the pits and Villeneuve leads.
When Wirtz and Alesi rejoin the race, they find themselves behind Hakkinen and Villeneuve in 3rd and 4th, only one place away from both being on the podium.
John Hakkinen is out, you're P2. Okay, Jean, calm it. Alex is not going to go past you. Hakkinen is out, you're P2.
With Alexander Wirtz now in the Benetton, and this is a quite incredible performance. Alexander Wirtz, who's only in his 3rd Grand Prix, the young Austrian, is in 3rd position. He's in a podium place.
Yes, it is.
Jacques Villeneuve, Williams Renault wins. Benetton finished 2nd and 3rd, and 10 championship points.
Congratulations for this very good strategy. Superb drive, my friend, superb. That's fantastic, well done. Very good drive, well right.
I said we were going to be okay in the race, didn't I?
I always thought, what would you say if you come here? Now I lost everything.
It's important for us to fight for the championship. It's still open. It's not over yet, and what we need is a lot of points.
How do you feel?
I feel really happy and perfect. Just perfect.
Thank you. You were great.
You want me to drive?
No.
Okay,
I can do trust. I've seen you do it this afternoon.
So over the weekend we were not very competitive in qualifying, but they keep pushing, and at the end we went on the podium, both of us. We are really pleased.
In the next year in the fast lane, we follow Benetton from the best results of the season to even greater heights as Gerhard Berger returns. But as the season comes to an end, some faces are on the way out.
Okay. I'm very happy to leave in the team in the good end.